1. 1. Definition of science. Science is the study of the natural world through observation and experiments. It helps us understand how things work and why they happen. 2. Branches of science. Science is divided into three main branches. Physical science studies non-living things like physics, chemistry, and astronomy. Life science studies living things like biology and zoology. Earth science studies the earth and space like geology and meteorology. 3. Science and technology. Science is about understanding the natural world, while technology uses that understanding to make tools and devices that solve problems or improve life. 4. Scientific theory. A scientific theory is a well-tested explanation of how or why something happens in the natural world, based on evidence and observation. 5. Scientific laws. Scientific laws describe what happens in the natural world under certain conditions. They are statements based on repeated experiments. 6. Law against theory. Laws tell us what happens, like gravity makes things fall. Theories explain why it happens, like the theory of gravity explains why objects are attracted to each other. 7. Scientific method 6 steps. 1. Observation. Notice something and ask a question. 2. Research. Gather information. 3. Hypothesis. Make a guess, an educated guess about the answer. 4. Experiment. Test your guess. 5. Analysis. Study the results of your test. 6. Conclusion. Decide if your guess was right or wrong. 8. What is science? Science is the way we study and learn about the world around us through asking questions, observing, and experimenting. 9. 2 views of science. Empirical view focuses on observation and experimentation. Theoretical view focuses on forming explanations and theories based on evidence. 2. 10. What is the process of science? The process of science involves asking questions, forming hypotheses, testing them through experiments, and analyzing the results to find answers. 11. What is the product of science? The product of science includes knowledge, discoveries, and inventions that come from research and experiments. 12. What is the nature of science? The nature of science is that it is based on evidence, uses reasoning, and is open to change when new evidence is found. 13. What are the dimensions of science? The dimensions of science include content knowledge, facts and concepts, processes, skills like observing and experimenting, nature, understanding that science is always growing and changing. 14. Goals of science education. The main goals are to help students understand the world through science, to teach critical thinking and problem solving, to encourage curiosity and exploration, to prepare students for scientific challenges in the future. Learning objectives are used to clearly state what learners should know or be able to do after a lesson or course. They provide direction, focus on essential skills, and help instructors assess progress. Effective learning objectives. An effective learning objective should be 1. Specific, clear about what learners will accomplish. 2. Measurable, can be assessed to see if the objective was achieved. 3. Achievable, realistic within the time and resources available. 4. Relevant, relates directly to the course or lesson goals. 5. Time-bound, includes a time frame for completion. 6. Learner-centered, focused on what the student will do, not the instructor. 7. Observable, can be demonstrated by the learner. 3. Goals versus learning objectives 7 points. 1. Broad versus specific, goals are broad aims, objectives are specific steps. 2. Time frame, goals may be long-term, while objectives are more immediate. 3. General versus detailed, goals are general intentions, objectives describe exact skills or knowledge. 4. Outcome versus process, goals focus on overall outcomes, objectives focus on the process of learning. 5. Measurability, objectives are measurable, goals are often not. 6. Learner focus, learning objectives are about student actions, goals may be about overall program success. 7. Assessment, objectives guide how learning will be assessed, goals do not. Learning objectives by Define, Mager, 1975. Mager's approach suggests that a learning objective should 1. Define the behavior or skill the learner will demonstrate. 2. Identify the conditions under which the learner will perform. 3. Set the standards for acceptable performance. Ideal learning objectives include 1. A measurable verb, action verbs like identify, analyze, or demonstrate. Example: students will identify 3 causes of climate change. 2. The condition, the context or situation in which the skill will be performed. Example, given a data set, students will analyze the information. 3. The standard for acceptable performance, the criteria to judge the quality of performance. Example, students must score 80% or higher on the quiz. Evaluating learning objectives. 1. Are they specific and measurable? 2. Do they align with the course goals? 3. Are they achievable within the time frame? 4. Do they include conditions and standards? 5. Are they learner-focused? 6. Are they observable and accessible? 7. Do they guide both instruction and assessment? Writing learning objectives. 1. Use clear, measurable verbs. 2. Identify the conditions and standards for performance. 3. Ensure objectives align with overall learning goals. 4. Focus on what students will do, learner-centered. 5. Make objectives concise and specific. 4. Understand your audience. Consider the learner's prior knowledge and skills. Adjust the complexity of objectives to suit their level. Focus on skill mastery. Learning objectives should target not just content knowledge but also the mastery of practical skill. Performance versus content-based courses, 7 points. 1. Focus. Performance courses focus on doing. Content-based courses focus on understanding. 2. Objective style. Performance objectives are about actions. Content-based objectives involve knowledge. 3. Assessment. Performance courses assess skills. Content courses assess knowledge. 4. Verb choice. Performance objectives use verbs like perform or demonstrate, while content courses use verbs like describe or explain. 5. Learning style. Performance is hands-on. Content is theory-based. 6. Outcome. Performance focuses on observable tasks. Content focuses on internal understanding. 7. Skill mastery. Performance-based objectives aim for mastery of skills, while content-based focuses on learning facts. Learning objective categories or domains. 1. Cognitive domain thinking skills. Involves knowledge and mental skills. Example, identify 3 major planets in the solar system. 2. Psychomotor domain, physical skills. Involves physical movement, coordination, and motor skills. Example, students will perform a dance routine with at least 80% accuracy. 3. Affective domain, emotional attitude skills. Involves feelings, emotions, and attitudes. Example, learning objective categories or domains. 1. Cognitive domain thinking skills. Involves knowledge and mental skills. Example, identify 3 major planets in the solar system. 2. Psychomotor domain, physical skills. Involves physical movement, coordination, and motor skills. Example, students will perform a dance routine with at least 80% accuracy. 3. Affective domain, emotional attitude skills. Involves feelings, emotions, and attitudes. Example, students will demonstrate respect during group discussions. 5. Levels of learning objectives, Bloom's taxonomy. 1. Knowledge, recall facts and basic concepts. Example, list the steps in the scientific method. 2. Comprehension, explain ideas or concepts. Example, summarize the process of photosynthesis. 3. Application, use information in new situations. Example, solve a math problem using algebraic equations. 4. Analysis, break information into parts and explore relationships. Example, analyze the impact of climate change on global ecosystems. 5. Synthesis, combine parts to form a new whole. Example, design an experiment to test water quality. 6. Evaluation, make judgments based on criteria and standards. Example, evaluate the effectiveness of different recycling programs. Evaluating levels of objectives, 7 points. 1. Clarity, are the objectives clear and understandable? 2. Relevance, do they align with the course or lesson goals? 3. Measurability, can they be assessed effectively? 4. Feasibility, are they realistic for the time and resources available? 5. Level of learning, do they target appropriate cognitive, affective, or psychomotor skills? 6. Challenge, are they challenging enough for the learner's level? 7. Learner-centered, do they focus on what the learner will accomplish? Bloom's taxonomy, revised. 1. Remember action verbs, list, define, recall, name, identify, repeat, recognize, label, state, describe. Example, Recall the key events of World War II. 2. Understand action verbs. Explain, summarize, interpret, paraphrase, compare, classify, discuss, exemplify, infer, conclude. Example: explain the causes of global warming. 3. Apply action verbs. Solve, use, apply, demonstrate, implement, execute, show, practice, perform, operate. Example: apply Newton's laws of motion to a real-world problem. 4. Analyze action verbs. Analyze, compare, contrast, differentiate, distinguish, examine, investigate, organize, outline, break down. Example: analyze the effects of industrialization on the environment. 5. Evaluate action verbs. Judge, critique, assess, evaluate, defend, justify, recommend, argue, support, decide. Example: evaluate the pros and cons of renewable energy sources. 6. Create action verbs. Design, construct, develop, plan, create, formulate, assemble, generate, compose, produce. Example: design a marketing plan for a new product. 6. Bloom's taxonomy of educational objectives. Bloom's taxonomy categorizes learning objectives into 3 domains: cognitive, affective, and psychomotor, that guide educators in structuring effective instruction. Instructional and educational objectives. Instructional objectives are specific, measurable outcomes that focus on what a learner should accomplish in a particular lesson or unit. Educational objectives are broader, long-term goals that represent what a learner should achieve by the end of an entire course or program. Educational objectives versus instructional objectives. 7 points. 1. Scope. Educational objectives are broader, covering an entire course, while instructional objectives are narrow and cover individual lessons. 2. Time frame. Educational objectives are long-term, instructional objectives are short-term. 3. Detail. Instructional objectives are more detailed and specific than educational objectives. 4. Focus. Instructional objectives focus on immediate learner outcomes. Educational objectives focus on overall learning development. 5. Assessment. Instructional objectives are easier to measure directly, while educational objectives require summative assessments. 6. Purpose. Educational objectives aim for overall growth, while instructional objectives aim for daily achievements. 7. Learner involvement. Educational objectives guide the entire learning experience, while instructional objectives provide step-by-step guidance for particular lessons. Cognitive domain. Hierarchy of 6 levels with 10 action verbs each. 1. Remembering, recalling information. Verbs: list, define, recall, identify, name, label, repeat, describe, recognize, state. Example: list the parts of a plant. 2. Understanding, explaining ideas. Verbs: explain, summarize, interpret, paraphrase, discuss, compare, classify, describe, exemplify, infer. Example: summarize the plot of a story. 3. Applying, using information in new situations. Verbs: solve, apply, demonstrate, use, implement, execute, show, perform, illustrate, practice. Example: apply the formula to solve the math problem. Analyzing, breaking information into parts. Verbs: analyze, compare, contrast, examine, differentiate, organize, outline, investigate, dissect, distinguish. Example: analyze the causes of the Civil War. 5. Evaluating, making judgments based on criteria. Verbs: judge, assess, evaluate, critique, justify, support, defend, argue, recommend, validate. Example: evaluate the effectiveness of a recycling program. 7. 6. Creating, combining elements to form new ideas. Verbs: create, design, construct, develop, plan, formulate, invent, compose, assemble, generate. Example: design a solution for reducing air pollution. Effective domain. Hierarchy of 5 levels with 10 action verbs each. 1. Receiving, awareness and willingness to hear. Verbs: listen, acknowledge, follow, ask, name, identify, select, show interest, accept, attend. Example: listen attentively during the lecture. 2. Responding, participating actively. Verbs: answer, respond, participate, contribute, discuss, help, practice, perform, demonstrate, present. Example: participate in class discussions. 3. Valuing, attaching value to something. Verbs: respect, value, support, appreciate, encourage, justify, propose, argue, share, debate. Example: support environmental conservation efforts. 4. Organization, organizing values into priorities. Verbs: organize, prioritize, integrate, balance, modify, arrange, formulate, coordinate, compare, plan. Example: Organize a community service project. 5. Characterizing, acting consistently with values. Verbs, display, demonstrate, practice, internalize, exemplify, live by, led, uphold, embody, act. Example, demonstrate leadership in group work. Psychomotor domain, action verbs. 1. Reflex actions, automatic responses. Verbs, react, flinch, blink, startle, respond, reflex, withdraw, contract, shrink, brace. 2. Fundamental movements, basic physical movements. Verbs, jump, run, walk, catch, throw, hop, stretch, skip, bend, twist. 3. Perceptual abilities, using senses to guide action. Verbs, detect, discern, perceive, distinguish, recognize, identify, gauge, measure. Anticipate, sense. 4. Physical abilities, strength, endurance, flexibility. Verbs, endure, lift, push, pull, balance, maintain, hold, stretch, twist, resist. 5. Skilled movements, complex movements with precision. Verbs, perform, execute, manipulate, control, coordinate, assemble, construct, operate. Pilot, navigate. 8. Why lesson planning is important. It ensures lessons are structured and organized, helps teachers deliver content effectively, keeps the learning process on track, allows for clear objectives and learning outcomes, helps manage class time efficiently, provides a roadmap for assessing students' progress. How lesson planning is important for the teacher against the learner. 6 points. 1. Organization. Teachers can better organize materials, while learners benefit from clear instruction. 2. Time management. Teachers allocate time efficiently. Learners get to engage in activities without rush. 3. Clarity. Teachers stay focused on objectives. Learners clearly understand what they are expected to learn. 4. Consistency. Teachers provide consistent instruction. Learners receive uniform information. 5. Preparedness. Teachers prepare for any challenges. Learners feel confident in progressing. 6. Assessment. Teachers can assess learning effectively. Learners know how their performance is measured. 5 guiding principles of lesson planning. 1. Variety. Use different teaching methods to engage all learners. 2. Coherence. Ensure lessons are logically connected. 3. Balance. Combine content delivery with practical activities. 4. Flexibility. Be ready to adjust plans based on classroom needs. 5. Challenges. Incorporate tasks that push students to think critically. Components of a lesson plan. Information about learners. 5 points. 1. Age and grade level. 2. Prior knowledge and skills. 3. Learning preferences. 4. Special needs or accommodations. 5. Cultural background. Objectives enable learners to 5 points. 1. Understand what they are expected to learn. 2. Focus on specific outcomes. 3. Develop relevant skills. 4. Track their progress. 5. Achieve a measurable standard. 9. Procedure. 5 points. 1. Introduction to the lesson. 2. Presentation of new material. 3. Guided practice. 4. Independent practice. 5. Closure and review. Aids. 5 points. 1. Whiteboards and markers. 2. Multimedia videos, presentations. 3. Handouts or worksheets. 4. Visual aids, charts, models. 5. Educational software or apps. Hints for lesson management. 7 points. 1. Start lessons promptly. 2. Keep transitions smooth. 3. Use clear instructions. 4. Engage all students. 5. Maintain classroom discipline. 6. Adapt to classroom dynamics. 7. Monitor and adjust pacing. Suggested format of a lesson plan. 7 points. 1. Objectives. Clear, measurable learning outcomes. 2. Materials. List of tools and resources needed. 3. Procedures. Step-by-step guide to the lesson. 4. Assessment. How learners' progress will be evaluated. 5. Adaptations. Modifications for diverse learners. 6. Introduction. Brief overview to engage students. 7. Conclusion, review, and wrap-up of key points. Writing objectives. 1. Objective. State clearly what the learner will achieve. 2. Materials, resources needed for the lesson. 3. Procedures. The sequence of teaching steps or activities. 10. Definition. The demonstration method is a teaching technique where the instructor shows or performs a task, experiment, or process in front of the learners to illustrate how it's done. What is demonstration? Demonstration involves the teacher physically showing students how to do something while explaining each step, allowing learners to observe and understand before trying it themselves. Why use the demonstration method? 7 points. 1. Clarity. Demonstrations provide clear visual explanations of complex ideas. 2. Engagement. Learners are more engaged when they can see the process in action. 3. Retention. Seeing a demonstration helps learners retain information better. 4. Practical application. Demonstrations show how theory is applied in practice. 5. Real-time feedback. Students can ask questions and get immediate clarification. 6. Skill development helps in mastering hands-on skills. 7. Increased confidence. Learners feel more confident trying tasks they have seen demonstrated. Types of demonstration. 3 types. 1. Pure demonstration. The teacher performs the activity with minimal explanation, allowing students to observe the entire process. 2. Participative demonstration. The teacher involves students in performing parts of the demonstration, allowing for hands-on learning. 3. Simultaneous demonstration. The teacher and students perform the activity together step by step. 7 steps for effective demonstration. 1. Planning. Carefully prepare and plan each step of the demonstration. 2. Introduce. Explain the purpose and the learning objectives to the students. 3. Show step by step. Demonstrate the process or task in small, clear steps. 4. Explain. Provide explanations for each step as you go along. 5. Engage students. Ask questions and encourage interaction throughout the demonstration. 6. Allow practice. Let students try the process themselves after the demonstration. 7. Review. Summarize the key points and ensure understanding. 11. The lecture. Traditional teacher-centered method. 7 points about lectures. 1. Teacher-centered. The teacher is the primary source of information with students listening. 2. One-way communication. The teacher speaks and students listen, often with little interaction. 3. Large groups. Ideal for large audiences where individual engagement is not feasible. 4. Time efficient. Allows for quick coverage of large amounts of information. 5. Structured. Lectures follow a clear, structured outline. 6. Passive learning. Students receive information passively without active involvement. 7. Content-focused. Emphasizes the delivery of factual knowledge rather than skills or critical thinking. Effectiveness of lecturing. 10 points. 1. Efficient for large groups, can reach many students at once. 2. Cost-effective. Requires minimal resources. 3. Content delivery. Allows for detailed delivery of content. 4. Teacher control. Teachers have full control over the pace and content. 5. Structured learning. Provides a clear structure for complex topics. 6. Time management. Teachers can cover large amounts of material quickly. 7. Authoritative source. Teachers are viewed as experts in their field. 8. Flexibility. Can be easily adjusted to meet different learning objectives. 9. Retention of information. Can help students remember core information when well organized. 10. Inspiration. Lectures can be inspiring and motivating when delivered passionately. Preparing lectures. 5 points. 1. Define objectives. Clearly identify what students should learn by the end of the lecture. 2. Research content. Ensure that you have all the necessary information and facts. 3. Organize material. Structure the lecture logically with a clear introduction, body, and conclusion. 4. Plan activities. Incorporate brief activities or discussions to engage students. 5. Anticipate questions. Prepare for potential student questions and clarifications. Preparing lecture notes. 5 points. 1. Key points. Write down the main ideas to cover. 2. Examples. Include examples to explain complex ideas. 3. Clarity. Keep notes concise but clear. 4. Visual aids. Plan where you will use slides, charts, or other aids. 5. Timing. Estimate how much time each section will take. 12. Organizing the lecture. 7 points. 1. Introduction. Start with an introduction to grab attention. 2. Objective setting. Clearly state the learning objectives. 3. Main points. Organize the lecture into clear sections with main points. 4. Transitions. Use smooth transitions between topics. 5. Summaries. Periodically summarize key points to reinforce learning. 6. Visual aids. Incorporate visual aids to make points clearer. 7. Conclusion. End with a strong summary and key takeaways. Presenting a successful lecture. 5 points. 1. Engage audience, ask questions or involve the audience to maintain interest. 2. Vary tone and pace, avoid monotony by varying the tone and pace of delivery. 3. Clear communication, speak clearly and avoid jargon. 4. Use visuals, support your lecture with relevant visual aids. 5. Check understanding, pause to ensure students understand the material. Definition. Discovery learning is a teaching method where learners explore, experiment, and discover knowledge by themselves, with minimal guidance from the teacher. Proponents of discovery learning believe that 7 points. 1. Active learning, learners are more engaged in actively seeking knowledge. 2. Critical thinking, encourages problem solving and critical thinking. 3. Intrinsic motivation, learners are motivated by their curiosity. 4. Deep understanding, students develop a deeper understanding through exploration. 5. Ownership of learning, students take ownership of their learning process. 6. Creativity, encourages creative thinking and exploration of different solutions. 7. Lifelong learning, helps develop skills useful for lifelong independent learning. Critics believe that discovery learning, 5 points. 1. Inefficient, can take too much time compared to traditional methods. 2. Lack of guidance. Too little teacher guidance may lead to confusion. 3. Not suitable for all learners, some students may struggle without structure. 4. Overload, too much freedom can overwhelm students with information. 5. Unequal results, learners may not reach the same level of understanding. 13. Advantages of discovery, learning 12 points. 1. Encourages exploration, promotes curiosity and exploration of new ideas. 2. Increases retention, learners retain information better through self-discovery. 3. Develops problem-solving skills, enhances the ability to solve problems independently. 4. Fosters independence, teaches students to rely on their own thinking. 5. Promotes critical thinking, encourages deep analysis and evaluation. 6. Active engagement, students are actively involved in their learning. 7. Adaptability, encourages flexible thinking and adaptability to new challenges. 8. Lifelong learning skills, prepares students for self-directed learning beyond school. 9. Collaboration, often includes opportunities for peer collaboration. 10. Motivation, intrinsically motivates learners by giving them control. 11. Creativity, encourages learners to think outside the box. 12. Real-world application, skills learned can be applied in real-life scenarios. Disadvantages of discovery learning 12 points. 1. Time-consuming, discovery learning can take longer than direct instruction. 2. Requires strong guidance, without proper support, students may get lost. 3. Resource-intensive, requires more materials and teacher preparation. 4. Risk of misconceptions, students may develop incorrect ideas if not guided properly. 5. Not suitable for all learners, some students struggle without clear instructions. 6. Overwhelming, too much freedom can overwhelm learners. 7. Assessment difficulty, harder to assess learners' progress compared to structured methods. 8. Varying results, students may reach different levels of understanding. 9. Requires high motivation, learners need to be motivated to explore on their own. 10. Lack of coverage, students may miss important content that a teacher-directed method would cover. 11. Teacher's role changes, the teacher becomes a facilitator rather than an instructor, which some may find challenging. 12. Classroom management, managing multiple students exploring independently can be difficult. Background history. The project method is rooted in progressive education philosophy, with significant contributions by John Dewey and William H. Kilpatrick. Dewey advocated for experiential learning, emphasizing that education should be grounded in real-life experiences. Kilpatrick, a student of Dewey, expanded on this idea and formalized the project method, encouraging students to engage in purposeful, goal-oriented tasks. Markham further supported the idea, emphasizing student engagement in meaningful, hands-on activities. Meaning of a project. A project is a comprehensive activity where learners actively engage in planning, executing, and evaluating tasks that are relevant to real-world situations. Projects typically integrate multiple subjects and encourage collaboration, creativity, and problem-solving. 14. Definitions of project method. John Dewey's view. A project is a well-defined task that is useful to the individual and involves direct interaction with their environment. 2. Kilpatrick's definition. A project is a wholehearted, purposeful activity proceeding in a social environment. Characteristics of a project, based on definitions, 10 points. 1. Purposeful activity. Projects are carried out with a specific goal or objective. 2. Learner-centered. The student plays a central role in choosing, planning, and executing the project. 3. Real-world relevance. Projects are connected to real-life experiences and practical situations. 4. Active engagement. Learners are actively involved in the learning process through hands-on activities. 5. Collaboration. Projects often involve teamwork and peer collaboration. 6. Cross-disciplinary. Projects integrate various subjects and skills into a cohesive learning experience. 7. Problem-solving. Projects require critical thinking and problem-solving. 8. Flexible and dynamic. The project process allows for changes based on student decisions and experiences. 9. Evaluation-oriented. Both process and outcomes are evaluated by the students and teachers. 10. Reflective. Projects encourage self-reflection and review of the learning process. Basic principles of the project method. 1. Principle of purposefulness. Every project has a clear purpose aligned with student interests and needs. 2. Principle of activity. Learning happens through active participation and doing. 3. Principle of freedom. Students have the freedom to choose the topic, plan the process, and take responsibility for their learning. 4. Principle of experimentation. Students explore, experiment, and discover new concepts through the project. 5. Learning by doing. Emphasizes practical, hands-on experience as the primary mode of learning. 6. Learning by living. Involves activities that relate to real-life experiences and social interactions. 7. Social development, collaboration, and teamwork foster social skills and group responsibility. 8. Wholesome education. Addresses cognitive, emotional, social, and physical aspects of development. 9. Principle of reality. The project reflects real-world problems and situations. 10. Principle of utility. The skills and knowledge gained are useful and applicable in everyday life. 11. Principle of planning. Effective planning is essential for the success of the project, ensuring students are organized and goal-oriented. 15. Types of projects. 1. Individual project, conducted by one student based on personal interests and abilities. 2. Simple and complex projects, vary in complexity depending on the scope and depth of the problem or task. 3. Constructive project involves building or creating something tangible, like models, structures, or devices. 4. Aesthetic project focuses on activities related to art, music, or other forms of creative expression. 5. Problematic project requires students to solve a particular problem, often involving research and experimentation. 6. Drill project involves repeated practice to master a specific skill or procedure. 7 steps of the project method. 1. Choosing a project. Learners choose a project topic based on interest and relevance to their environment. 2. Planning. Detailed planning of the steps to be followed, including gathering materials, scheduling tasks, and setting goals. 3. Execution. Students carry out the project activities, solve problems, and adapt as needed. 4. Observation. Both students and teachers observe the progress and process of the project. 5. Discussion. Periodic discussions among students and with teachers to reflect on progress and address challenges. 6. Evaluation. Assessment of the project process and its final outcome based on the set objectives. 7. Reporting and presentation. Students present their findings, outcomes, or products to the class or a wider audience. Role of the teacher in the project method, 10 points. 1. Facilitator, guides students in selecting appropriate topics and planning projects. 2. Advisor, provides advice and suggestions without taking over control. 3. Resource provider, supplies materials and resources that students need for their projects. 4. Motivator, encourages students to stay engaged and focused on their tasks. 5. Supervisor, monitors progress and offers support when students face challenges. 6. Evaluator, assesses both the process and final outcome of the project. 7. Organizer, helps students structure their work, manage time, and set realistic goals. 8. Discussion leader, leads reflective discussions during and after the project to encourage deeper understanding. 9. Problem solver, helps students think critically about any difficulties they encounter. 10. Encourager of creativity, promotes innovation, creativity, and independent thinking. 16. Role of the learner in the project method. 10 points. 1. Active participant, takes responsibility for choosing and carrying out the project. 2. Planner, helps develop the project plan and organizes tasks. 3. Researcher, gathers information and materials needed for the project. 4. Problem solver, actively works through problems that arise during the project. 5. Collaborator, works with peers when doing group projects, sharing responsibilities. 6. Decision maker, makes key decisions about how to proceed with the project. 7. Creative thinker, develops innovative solutions and approaches. 8. Evaluator, reflects on both the process and the product of the project. 9. Presenter, communicates the project outcomes to peers or a broader audience. 10. Learner by doing, gains hands-on experience and practical knowledge through the project. Advantages of the project method. 10 points. 1. Student-centered, learners take control of their learning process. 2. Real-world application, connects classroom learning to real-life situations. 3. Skill development, encourages the development of problem-solving, critical thinking, and teamwork skills. 4. Engagement, keeps students highly motivated and engaged. 5. Collaboration, promotes social interaction and teamwork. 6. Creativity, encourages creative thinking and innovation. 7. Responsibility, teaches students to take responsibility for their learning. 8. Practical knowledge, provides hands-on experience that complements theoretical learning. 9. Reflective learning, encourages students to reflect on their experiences and learning process. 10. Cross-disciplinary, integrates multiple subjects, allowing for a holistic learning experience. Disadvantages of the project method. 10 points. 1. Time-consuming, projects can take a lot of time to plan and complete. 2. Resource-intensive, requires significant materials, tools, and resources. 3. Not suitable for all subjects, difficult to apply in subjects requiring specific theoretical knowledge. 4. Assessment challenges, difficult to measure the learning outcomes accurately. 5. Unequal contribution in groups, some students may contribute less in group projects. 6. Overemphasis on product, sometimes the process of learning is overlooked in favor of the final product. 7. Requires high motivation, some students may lack the motivation or self-direction to complete a project. 8. Difficulty for teachers, requires extensive planning and monitoring by the teacher. 9. Limited scope, some students may not delve deeply into the subject matter. 10. Resource gaps, schools with limited resources may struggle to implement project-based learning. 17. Meaning and definition. Activity-based teaching refers to instructional approaches where learning is achieved through direct participation in practical tasks, experiments, and hands-on experiences, rather than through passive listening or rote memorization. This method allows students to explore and engage with content through activities, which leads to better understanding and retention of knowledge. Background. The roots of activity-based learning can be traced to educational philosophers like John Dewey, who emphasized experiential learning. Dewey believed that students learn best when actively involved in the learning process, experiencing and solving real-world problems. Why do we need activity-based learning method? 10 points. 1. Engagement, activities capture students' interest and actively involve them in learning. 2. Retention, students remember and understand better when they actively participate. 3. Skill development, helps in developing critical thinking, problem-solving, and teamwork. 4. Real-world application, connects theory to practical real-life situations. 5. Encourages curiosity, promotes inquiry-based learning, where students explore and discover. 6. Improves attention, activities help maintain students' attention and focus. 7. Hands-on experience, offers practical experience rather than abstract concepts. 8. Individualized learning, caters to different learning styles and paces. 9. Promotes creativity, encourages students to think outside the box and come up with creative solutions. 10. Collaboration, promotes teamwork, communication, and social development through group activities. Kinds of activities. 1. Exploratory activities, activities where students explore and investigate, such as experiments, surveys, or research. 2. Constructive activities involves building or creating something, like models, artwork, or writing stories. 3. Expressional activities involve self-expression, like drama, role-play, or presentations. Focus of activities. Experiencing activities, activities that allow students to directly experience concepts, e.g., field trips, experiments. Memorizing activities, designed to help students remember important facts or concepts, e.g., flashcards, games. Understanding activities, activities that promote deeper understanding, such as discussions, group work, and problem-solving tasks. Organizing activities involves organizing ideas and information, e.g., mind maps, sorting exercises. 18. 5 steps for effective organization of activities. 1. Planning. Carefully select and plan the activity based on learning objectives. 2. Preparation. Gather and organize all the materials and resources needed for the activity. 3. Instruction. Provide clear instructions and demonstrate if necessary. 4. Execution. Allow students to carry out the activity with guidance from the teacher. 5. Evaluation and reflection. Discuss the outcomes and reflect on the learning process. 10 roles of the teacher in activity-based teaching method. 1. Facilitator. Guides students through the activity and learning process. 2. Planner. Prepares and organizes the activities. 3. Resource provider. Provides materials and resources necessary for the activity. 4. Motivator. Encourages students to participate actively and stay engaged. 5. Observer. Monitors students' progress and participation during the activity. 6. Evaluator. Assesses both the process and the learning outcomes of the activity. 7. Problem solver. Helps students overcome challenges they may face during the activity. 8. Time manager. Ensures activities are completed within the allotted time. 9. Mediator. Manages group dynamics and ensures everyone is participating equally. 10. Reflector. Encourages students to reflect on their learning and the activity's success. Advantages of activity-based learning. 10 points. 1. Increases student engagement, keeps learners motivated and interested. 2. Encourages critical thinking. Students must think critically to complete tasks. 3. Promotes retention. Students remember what they learn by doing. 4. Hands-on learning. Provides practical real-world experience. 5. Collaborative learning. Encourages teamwork and social interaction. 6. Creative expression. Promotes creativity and innovation in students. 7. Multiple intelligences. Appeals to various learning styles, kinesthetic, visual, auditory, etc. 8. Self-directed learning. Empowers students to take responsibility for their learning. 9. Improves communication. Students improve communication skills through group work and presentations. 10. Immediate feedback. Allows for real-time feedback during the activity. Disadvantages of activity-based learning. 10 points. 1. Time-consuming. Planning and conducting activities can take a lot of time. 2. Resource-intensive. Requires materials, space, and other resources. 3. Classroom management can be harder to manage large groups during activities. 4. Not suitable for all subjects, difficult to implement in some theoretical subjects. 5. Potential for distraction. Students may focus more on the activity than the learning objective. 6. Assessment challenges. Difficult to assess students' learning consistently. 7. Teacher expertise. Requires teachers to be highly skilled in facilitating activities. 8. Limited content coverage. Less material may be covered compared to traditional methods. 9. Inconsistent learning. Different students may learn at different rates. 10. Group dynamics. Some students may dominate or not participate fully in group activities. 19. Definition. The assignment method is a teaching technique where students are given specific tasks to complete independently, either in class or as homework. These tasks reinforce and apply concepts learned in class. Types of assignment method. 1. Traditional assignments. Simple tasks like reading a chapter, answering questions, or solving problems, often used to reinforce class lessons. Example, writing an essay on a topic discussed in class. 2. Modern assignments. These involve creative and exploratory tasks such as projects, case studies, or research papers, encouraging critical thinking and innovation. Example: creating a multimedia presentation on a current issue related to the subject. 10 merits of assignment method. 1. Promotes independent learning. Encourages students to study and learn on their own. 2. Reinforces learning. Helps students apply what they learned in class. 3. Time management. Teaches students to manage their time effectively. 4. Improves research skills. Encourages independent research and data collection. 5. Encourages responsibility. Students learn to take responsibility for their learning. 6. Enhances critical thinking. Students must think critically to complete assignments. 7. Improves writing skills. Frequent writing assignments enhance writing proficiency. 8. Promotes creativity. Students can approach tasks in creative ways. 9. Customized learning. Assignments can be tailored to individual learning needs. 10. Allows for feedback. Teachers can provide individualized feedback on assignments. 10 demerits of assignment method. 1. Overload. Too many assignments can overwhelm students. 2. Plagiarism risk. Students may copy work from others. 3. Lack of engagement. Some students may not engage deeply with the assignment. 4. Time-consuming. Assignments can take up too much time, leading to stress. 5. Unequal access. Students with fewer resources may struggle to complete assignments. 6. Poor time management. Some students may procrastinate and rush through assignments. 7. Teacher workload. Grading assignments can be time-consuming for teachers. 8. Limited interaction. Assignments often lack interactive or collaborative learning. 9. Not always applicable. Some subjects may not benefit as much from assignments. 10. Inconsistent effort. Some students may not put equal effort into assignments. 20. Where to use assignment method. 5 points. 1. Homework. To reinforce topics covered in class. 2. Research. Encourages independent research on specific topics. 3. Projects. To allow in-depth exploration of subjects. 4. Preparation for exams. Assignments can help students review and prepare. 5. Creative expression. To allow students to creatively apply their knowledge. Definition and meaning. The heuristic method is an instructional approach where learners discover answers and solutions on their own through exploration and investigation, guided by open-ended questions or problems posed by the teacher. 5 things the heuristic method focuses on. 1. Discovery. Encourages students to find solutions by themselves. 2. Inquiry. Focuses on questioning and investigating. 3. Problem solving. Helps students develop problem-solving skills. 4. Experimentation. Promotes hands-on learning through trials and experimentation. 5. Active learning. Students learn through participation rather than passive listening. 5 basic principles of the heuristic method. 1. Self-discovery. Students learn by discovering facts and principles for themselves. 2. Critical thinking. Encourages analysis, evaluation, and logical thinking. 3. Active participation. Students actively engage in the learning process. 4. Teacher as a guide. The teacher facilitates learning by guiding students, not providing answers. 5. Learning by doing. Students learn best when they experiment, try, and fail. Advantages of heuristic teaching method. 10 points. 1. Promotes independent thinking. Encourages students to think critically and independently. 2. Develops problem-solving skills. Teaches students how to approach and solve problems. 3. Encourages curiosity. Fosters an interest in exploring and discovering new concepts. 4. Active learning. Keeps students engaged and involved in the learning process. 5. Enhances understanding. Leads to deeper understanding through personal discovery. 6. Builds confidence. Students gain confidence in their abilities to solve problems. 7. Improves retention. Learners retain information better when they discover it themselves. 8. Fosters creativity. Encourages creative approaches to problem solving. 9. Adaptable to different subjects. Can be used across various subjects and topics. 10. Encourages experimentation. Students are free to explore, try new ideas, and make mistakes. 21. Disadvantages of heuristic teaching method. 10 points. 1. Time-consuming discovery and problem-solving can take longer than traditional methods. 2. Requires skilled teachers. Teachers need to be highly skilled in guiding without providing direct answers. 3. Not suitable for all learners. Some students may struggle with the level of independence required. 4. Limited content coverage. Less content may be covered compared to lecture-based methods. 5. Resource-intensive, may require extensive materials and resources. 6. Risk of misunderstanding, students may reach incorrect conclusions without proper guidance. 7. Requires high motivation, students must be motivated to engage fully. 8. Difficult to assess, harder to evaluate student performance based solely on discovery. 9. Potential frustration, some students may get frustrated when they struggle to find the correct answer. 10. Group dynamics, in group work, some students may dominate, leaving others less involved. 10 suggestions for implementing heuristic method. 1. Provide clear instructions, ensure students understand the task and expectations. 2. Encourage inquiry, foster a questioning mindset by encouraging students to ask questions. 3. Offer guidance, provide enough support to keep students on track without giving direct answers. 4. Use real-world problems, present problems that relate to students' real-life experiences. 5. Create a safe learning environment, encourage experimentation without fear of failure. 6. Promote group work, encourage collaboration for complex problems. 7. Foster reflection, ask students to reflect on their learning process and outcomes. 8. Differentiate tasks, adjust the level of difficulty to match individual student abilities. 9. Use varied resources, provide diverse materials to support investigation and discovery. 10. Assess process over product, focus on evaluating students' thought processes rather than just the final answers. This overview provides a comprehensive understanding of the activity-based, assignment, and heuristic methods, highlighting their definitions, benefits, challenges, and practical application in teaching. Definition and meaning. Innovative teaching methods refer to new and creative approaches to instruction that go beyond traditional methods. These approaches prioritize student engagement, critical thinking, problem-solving, and the integration of technology to enhance learning. Innovative teaching focuses on developing student skills for the modern world, encouraging collaboration, creativity, and independence. Why innovative teaching methods? In a rapidly evolving world, traditional methods of teaching often fall short in preparing students for the challenges they will face. Innovation in teaching is essential to meet the changing needs of students, society, and the job market. Importance of innovative teaching methods. 22. 1. Engagement increases student interest and motivation. 2. Adaptability prepares students for real-world situations and challenges. 3. Skills development fosters critical thinking, problem-solving, creativity, and collaboration. 4. Technology integration makes learning more relevant and accessible in the digital age. 5. Personalized learning tailors instruction to individual needs and learning styles. 6. Global competency prepares students to compete and collaborate in a globalized world. 7. Lifelong learning instills habits of curiosity, self-direction, and a love for learning. Analysis of traditional methods of teaching. 7 points. 1. Teacher-centered, traditional methods focus on the teacher as the primary source of knowledge, with students passively receiving information. 2. Rote learning often relies on memorization rather than understanding. 3. Limited student engagement. Students may become disengaged due to lack of interaction and active participation. 4. Lecture-based relies heavily on lecturing, which can limit creative thinking and problem-solving. 5. Uniform approach treats all students the same, without considering individual learning styles or needs. 6. Lack of technology integration often does not incorporate modern technology, limiting access to diverse resources. 7. Assessment focus emphasizes standardized testing and grades, often overlooking skill development and critical thinking. Limitations of traditional methods of teaching. 7 points. 1. Passive learning. Students often passively receive information without engaging in active learning. 2. One-size-fits-all does not account for different learning styles or individual needs. 3. Lack of creativity, little room for creativity, exploration, and critical thinking. 4. Minimal collaboration, rarely encourages collaborative learning or teamwork. 5. Limited real-world application, fails to connect learning with real-world contexts and problem-solving. 6. Overemphasis on exams, focuses on memorization and performance in exams rather than deep understanding. 7. Lack of technology use, neglects the potential of technology to enhance learning experiences. Why use innovative teaching methods? 7 points. 1. Enhances student engagement, involves students actively in the learning process, making it more dynamic. 2. Fosters critical thinking, encourages problem-solving and deeper understanding of concepts. 3. Encourages collaboration, promotes teamwork and communication among students. 4. Integrates technology, prepares students for a digital world by using modern tools and resources. 5. Adapts to individual needs, provides personalized learning paths for students of different abilities and learning styles. 23. 6. Real-world application, connects classroom learning with real-world scenarios, enhancing relevance. 7. Promotes lifelong learning, encourages students to continue learning beyond the classroom by nurturing curiosity. Characteristics of an innovative classroom. 10 points. 1. Student-centered, focuses on the needs, interests, and abilities of students. 2. Collaborative environment, encourages teamwork and peer learning. 3. Technology-driven, integrates digital tools and resources into daily learning. 4. Creative spaces, offers flexibility and opportunities for creative thinking and problem-solving. 5. Project-based learning, uses projects to encourage deeper exploration of subjects. 6. Interactive learning, engages students in active learning through discussions, debates, and hands-on activities. 7. Flexible layout, classroom design allows for movement and collaboration rather than fixed seating arrangements. 8. Inclusive environment, embraces diversity and adapts to different learning styles and needs. 9. Real-world connection, links learning to real-world problems, challenges, and opportunities. 10. Continuous feedback, provides ongoing feedback to students to improve learning and performance. Characteristics of an innovative teacher. 10 points. 1. Collaborative, works with students and colleagues to create a learning community and encourages teamwork among students. 2. Courageous, willing to take risks, try new methods, and step out of the traditional teaching comfort zone. 3. Curious, continuously seeks to learn and explore new ideas, technologies, and methodologies to enhance teaching. 4. Connected, uses technology to connect with other educators, resources, and global perspectives to enrich learning experiences. 5. Compassionate, shows empathy and care for students' well-being, encouraging them to grow both academically and personally. 6. Committed, dedicated to improving teaching practices and helping students succeed. 7. Adaptable, able to adjust teaching strategies based on the needs of individual students and evolving classroom dynamics. 8. Engaging, uses engaging techniques that captivate students' attention and interest in learning. 9. Reflective, regularly reflects on their teaching practices to identify areas for improvement. 10. Innovative, continuously seeks and implements creative approaches to teaching and learning. These qualities and innovative methods of teaching create an environment that fosters critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, and skill development, preparing students for the challenges of the modern world. 24. Inquiry-based learning. IBL. Inquiry-based learning is a teaching approach where students take an active role in their learning by exploring, questioning, and investigating. Unlike traditional teaching, where the teacher is the primary source of information, IBL encourages students to discover knowledge through their own experiences and curiosity. How inquiry lessons differ from traditional lessons. Traditional approach, the teacher delivers information, and students passively receive it. Lessons often follow a set structure, with specific instructions and expected answers. Inquiry-based approach, students are encouraged to ask questions, explore and learn through discovery. They actively participate, explore different paths to answers, and think critically. Teachers act as facilitators rather than sources of knowledge, guiding students in their exploration. Definition from students. Students often describe inquiry-based learning as a way of learning by asking questions, exploring ideas, and finding answers themselves, rather than being given all the answers. Students doing inquiry-based learning. Invitation to learn. Students are invited to explore and take ownership of their learning journey. Questioning and observing. They raise questions, suggest explanations, and make observations to seek answers. Planning activities. Students plan and carry out their activities, making decisions along the way. Communicating results. They share findings through discussions, presentations, or projects. Reflecting on learning. Students analyze what they've learned and consider how they could improve their methods. Importance of inquiry-based learning. Inquiry learning teaches students how to learn, helping them become lifelong learners. It builds critical thinking, problem-solving skills, and adaptability, which are essential in a rapidly changing world.